My husband's family invited me to a surprise family meeting. When I got there, they handed me divorce papers and said, "Sign these, or you'll regret it." I just smiled, pulled out my own papers, and said, "Actually, I have a surprise for you too." My husband's face went pale when he saw what I had. I got a weird text from my husband's sister, Emma. We were never close, and she only messaged me when her mother wanted something or to complain. The text said, "Hey, we're having a small family gathering this Sunday at Mom's house. It's important. Be there at 3 p.m. It's a surprise, so don't tell Justin, just show up." I showed the text to my best friend, Claire, who thought it sounded suspicious. My husband, Justin, was super close to his family, so why wouldn't he know about this meeting? I decided to go and see what was going on before telling him. When I got to his mother's huge house, everyone was already there: his parents, Emma, his brothers, even his aunt and uncle from out of state. They were all sitting in the living room like it was some sort of council meeting. "Sit down," his mother said. I stayed standing. "What's going on?" Justin's dad, Robert, pushed a folder toward me. "We need you to sign these. It's for the best." I looked down and saw they were divorce papers. I laughed. "You've got to be kidding me." His mother continued, "You don't fit in with this family, you don't respect our traditions, and you're holding Justin back." Emma smirked and added, "We're handling this so Justin doesn't have to deal with the stress." They really thought they could force me to divorce Justin just because they wanted me out of the picture. I asked where Justin was. "He's not here," his father said. "He doesn't know about this. We're trying to save him from this stress." "So, you're ambushing me with divorce papers behind his back and expect me to just sign them?" I said, shocked by their arrogance. His mother just smiled. "It's for the best." That's when I pulled out my own folder and tossed it on the table. "Actually, I have a surprise for you too." Robert snatched the papers and his face turned red as he flipped through them. His hands shook. What is this?" "Proof," I said. Emma looked over his shoulder, her eyes going wide. "How did you get this?" "I've known for a while. I was just waiting for the right moment," I replied calmly. Justin's uncle took a page and asked, "Robert, is this true?" Robert said nothing, but his silence spoke volumes. His mother looked horrified. Then Justin walked in, confused. "Hey, Mom said there was some kind of..." He stopped when he saw the mess of papers on the table. "What's going on?" His mother tried to brush it off. "Justin, sweetheart, sit down, we can explain." I spoke up before they could twist the story. "Your family tried to force me to sign divorce papers behind your back, but they didn't expect me to have my own paperwork." Justin looked at me, confused. "What do you mean?" I pointed at my folder. "That's proof of everything I found: bank records, emails, hidden transactions. You should take a look." He did. As he read through the documents, his face went pale. "Dad, what the hell is this?" Still, no answer. "Mom, tell me this isn't real," Justin said, his voice breaking. His mother couldn't even look at him. "It's real, Justin," I said. "Your dad has been taking money from your accounts for years. Failed business deals, bad investments, paying off Emma's debts. Every time they ran out of money, they took it from you." Justin looked like someone had punched him. He flipped through the papers faster now, his breathing shaky. This can't be real." "Oh, it's real," I said, "and it gets worse." I pointed to a document. "See that? It's proof your parents put our house up as collateral for one of their shady loans. That loan failed. If we hadn't found out in time, we would have lost our home." Justin's hands started shaking. He turned to his father, eyes full of anger and betrayal. "You did what?" His father's jaw was clenched so tight it looked painful. But I wasn't finished. "Your family made me the bad guy, Justin. They made me look like a distraction while they drained your money, and now that I know the truth, they tried to get rid of me before I could tell you." Emma snapped. "That's a lie." I looked at her calmly. "Oh, really?" I reached into my bag and pulled out more proof, copies of her messages. "Maybe explain why you were bragging to your friend about how easy it was to trick Justin into signing financial documents without reading them." Emma's face went bright red. "You." I cut her off. "I have screenshots, your messages, your bank transfers, everything." I looked back at Justin. "Your family isn't just selfish, they're criminals." His father slammed his fist on the table. "Enough." I looked at him, not scared at all. "You don't get to decide that anymore." Justin was breathing hard, looking at his parents like they were strangers. His mother finally spoke, her voice shaking. "Justin, honey, Everything we did was to help you. We were only trying to protect you. Justin's voice was sharp and broken. Just stop. His mother flinched, fear showing in her eyes. For once, they realized Justin wasn't their puppet anymore. He looked at the divorce papers they tried to force me to sign, then at mine, the ones I'd brought to end their control over him. His voice was quiet but firm. What do we do next? I smiled. First, I said, sliding a pen across the table, sign my papers. Justin stared at the pen. His hands were still shaking, but his angry, hurt eyes stayed on his parents. His mother looked pale, lips pressed tight. His father looked like he was about to explode. Emma was fuming. I could feel it. If Justin signed those papers, everything his family built, their control over him, their access to his money, all of it would fall apart. Before Justin could grab the pen, his father jumped up, his chair screeching on the floor. No, Robert yelled, his voice low and threatening. You are not signing that. Justin flinched, but I didn't. Oh, he's signing it, I said, and after that, we're pressing charges, fraud, identity theft, stealing money, you name it. A forensic accountant will have a blast with this. Robert's face went red, his fists clenched. You think you can walk into my house and threaten me? I smirked. Not a threat, just a fact. His mother's voice shook, but she tried to sound calm. Justin Hugh, please, she begged. Think about your family. Everything we did was to help you. Justin looked at her, his voice broken but firm. You stole from me, you lied, you almost made me lose my home. She reached for his hand, but he pulled away like her touch hurt. Please, sweetheart, she whispered. We love you. I laughed. Funny way of showing it. I turned to Emma, who was being unusually quiet. No smart comments. Emma, no insults? Or are you too busy realizing how screwed you are? Emma's mouth opened and closed like a fish. She looked at her parents, then back at me, then she snapped. You want the truth? She spat, stepping toward me. I raised an eyebrow. Go ahead, I love the truth. Emma sneered. Fine, you were never part of this family. We only tolerated you. The only reason my parents didn't kick you out sooner was because Justin was too stupid to see through you. Justin's fists clenched. Emma. But she kept going. You're nothing without Justin, she said bitterly. What will you do when this is over? Justin's success came from us. His connections? Ours. His opportunities? Ours. Take him away, and you'll see how fast your life falls apart. I tilted my head. Is that so? Emma crossed her arms, smirking. Yeah, go ahead, leave, divorce him, take your little revenge, but in the end, we win. I chuckled. Then, without breaking eye contact, I pulled out another folder. Her smirk disappeared. What's that? I grinned. Oh, Emma, I said, tapping the folder on my hand. Did you really think I wouldn't dig deep before coming here? I tossed the folder onto the table, right next to the divorce papers. Let's talk about embezzlement. Emma froze. Her father's head snapped toward her so fast it was like he'd been slapped. What? I nodded at the folder. Turns out little Miss Perfect has been stealing money from her own family's accounts for years. Emma's face went pale. That's a lie. I opened the folder and showed the evidence. Bank records, fake invoices, payments to herself disguised as business expenses. And the best part, I said, sliding a specific page to Justin. Recognize this name? Justin read it, eyes going wide. This is Derek. Emma's eyes went wild. Shut up. Justin looked at her, hurt and angry. The Derek you said was just a friend? The guy you swore you never had anything with? Silence. Wow, I said, shaking my head. Not only did you steal from your own family, but you were funneling money to your side piece. Emma lunged at me, but Robert grabbed her arm. Is this true? His voice was low and dangerous. Emma pulled her arm away, but didn't answer. She couldn't. Her father's face twisted in rage. You idiot, he shouted. Do you have any idea what you've done? Her mother's hands flew to her mouth. Emma, tell me this isn't true. But the look on Emma's face said everything. Oh, this was good. Justin looked at me. How long have you known? I shrugged. A couple of months. I wanted to be sure before saying anything. He looked exhausted. Unbelievable. Robert was still angry, flipping through the papers with shaking hands. This is a disaster. Yep, I said cheerfully, and now it's your problem. I turned to Justin. Sign the papers. Let's end this. He looked at me, then at his mother crying into her hands, his father staring blankly at the table, and Emma trembling with rage. Finally, he picked up the pen and signed. Their control over him was gone. His father clenched the table, his voice full of anger. "You're going to regret this." I smiled. "I doubt it." I picked up my papers, grabbed Justin's hand, and walked out of their house, leaving their perfect world in ruins. The moment Justin signed, it was over. I left that house with my head held high, Justin beside me, and his family scrambling to understand how everything fell apart. But I wasn't finished yet. Revenge? It's best served slow and out in the open. Phase 1, Financial Destruction. I handed all the evidence to a lawyer and a forensic accountant, and when you mess with money like they did, the IRS gets very interested. Within weeks, Justin's father's business was under investigation, his fake reports and shady loans, all exposed. And since they used their house as collateral for failed investments, the bank came knocking. Their big fancy house in Charleston? Gone. Their luxury cars? Repossessed. Even their family business, passed down for generations, collapsed under lawsuits and unpaid debts. I heard from a friend that Justin's mother had a total breakdown when the bank took their house. Did I feel bad? Not at all. Phase 2, Emma's downfall. Emma, the so-called golden child, thought she was untouchable, but she wasn't. The money she stole, the fake invoices, and the payments to her boyfriend Derek, all of it went to the authorities. And with her father's business crumbling, there was no one left to cover for her. She got charged with fraud, money laundering, and theft. When she got arrested, I actually opened a bottle of champagne. She tried to play the victim, but it didn't work. I made sure her employer knew everything. She got fired and blacklisted. Her boyfriend Derek? He vanished as soon as things went bad, leaving her alone to deal with the mess. Last I heard, she was stuck working a terrible job, drowning in debt, and completely shunned by the high society crowd she once bragged about. Good riddance. Phase 3, Divorce and Freedom. Justin and I finished our divorce quickly. I got everything I deserved, my share of our assets, the house they tried to gamble away, and peace of mind. Justin wasn't innocent in all of this. He let his family walk all over him for too long, but once he saw the truth, he cut all ties with his parents and Emma. I'll give him credit, he didn't fight the divorce. He signed everything, apologized for being blind to the truth, and walked away from them forever. As for me, I took my settlement, moved to a new city, and built a happy new life for myself, a life where I was finally free. The final blow. The last thing I did was make sure everyone in their social circle knew the truth. The rich families they used to impress, the business contacts, the so-called friends, they all saw what really happened. Instead of success, their family became known for their shame. No one wanted to be seen with them. They were ruined. And me? I was thriving. Revenge isn't just about getting back at someone. Sometimes, it's about letting them destroy themselves. And I got to watch the whole thing. The end.